So for those of you who have been following me for the last maybe 12 months know I've been living in this van and why I've been living in this van. But we've got quite a number of new subscribers since then. We've got about 6,000 new subscribers since then. And I just wanted for those people to explain my reasons and why I'm doing it if they haven't seen the other videos. Basically, the reason I did this was because at the moment rent is very, very expensive where I live. And for me to build the boat, I needed to save all of my pennies. So that meant kind of removing any of my large expenditures. And rent was the biggest one. It's about 600 euros a month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot when you're trying to build a boat. So I made the decision to move into this van. I had this van already, and that's a lot of the reason that I didn't buy something bigger. I didn't want to defeat the whole object of the saving was to spend a year's rent to buy a van to save a year's rent. So it didn't really make sense. So I had this already. I kind of thought I could do it, and I just went for it. At the start, I was given 6 weeks. You'll last 6 weeks, it'll get cold, you'll give up. But I've been in this for 12 months now. I started last August, and it's the 19th of August now. And so it's just been just over 12 months. And it's been fine, to be honest. I haven't really had much of a bad time with it. The winter was a bit miserable, and it was cold. And I had an electric blanket that I used to use on a battery, so I'd run the battery overnight. And that worked quite well, actually, but to be honest, if I was going to give somebody two pieces of advice, it would be to get a bigger van than I have and to use a proper heating system that actually warms the van properly, because it can be a bit miserable when you wake up in the mornings and you're cold, your nose is frozen. But to be honest, other than that, it's actually quite okay. Another thing I would say that if you are planning to do this, have a very good reason that you're going to do it. For me, it was to save money to build the boat. I also don't have any dependents, and at the time I didn't have a girlfriend or anything, so it made very good sense for me to move into this kind of lifestyle. And now I do have a girlfriend, and she stays in the van with me, so it makes absolutely no difference. Honestly, it's down to the kind of person you are and the kind of people you have around you. At the end of the day, if you want to do it, you just have to do it and see how it goes. If you have a van already, throw a blow-up mattress in it, and the weather's quite warm at the moment, throw a blow-up mattress and a little cooker in there, go off for a weekend and see how you like it. If you absolutely hate it, fundamentally hate it, it's not going to work. If you enjoyed yourself, then it's all uphill from there, or downhill from there, sorry. You can make the van a little bit more comfortable, you can insulate it, you can add a heater, for very little cost, if you already have the van especially. So I'm going to give a brief tour of the van and show you how I've been living for the last 12 months. Some things are a little bit more difficult to deal with than others, but I'll go through that too. And if you do have any specific questions, then drop me a comment down below and I'll answer that for you as best I can. I'm trying to cover as much as I can in this video, so do let me know if I've missed anything. First things first is the bed / sofa. During the day it serves as a sofa. You can chill out with your friend or two small friends. Yeah, this is pretty much what it's like during the day. You can put your feet up and, that's pretty much all you can do, to be honest. You can't even stand up. This is the sofa, and it turns into a bed, and I'm going to show you the very simple, very, very simple way that I built this bed. It folds out, so there's a section under here. So you have a piece here and a piece here. They're two separate parts. And what they do is they kind of interlock into each other. So you can see, and it's a little bit difficult sometimes, they kind of slide out, and the fingers come out like this. And that makes the bed platform, and then your mattress folds down like this, like that, and then you can hang out with your two small friends if you like. I don't know, whatever you're into. Yeah. So here is a slightly better shot of the interlocking bed system. I don't know, it's pretty simple. A lot of the van dwellers do it. This whole fella slides in underneath and it interlocks with the slats on this side. My advice if you're going to build one of these is to use thinner slats and keep them closer together. So right now I have a big gap in here and here and here, and my elbow tends to kind of go in a little bit. That might be solved if you had a thicker mattress as well. This mattress is ridiculously thin. It's a futon mattress. And to be honest, I don't really like it, but I haven't been bothered to buy a new one. This little fella here is a butane gas stove. It's basically just a normal camping stove, and I did a lot of cooking on this. It's just screwed down to the kitchen, and basically it's just on, and you can cook pasta on this pretty quickly. The trick with these is to get the water slightly boiling, then turn them off and put a lid on the water, and it'll still keep cooking because pasta only needs it doesn't need to be absolutely simmering. So if you're going to cook pasta or rice, just turn that on, let it boil, turn it off, and let the pasta sit in the water, and it will cook. Saves a lot of gas. This guy was like 15 euros. You can get them in Halfords, you can get them online. They're very cheap and very simple. The only thing is to be careful of is when you're going to go to sleep or when you stop using it, make sure that you take the gas bottle out, because yeah, what can happen is something can fall over, knock this fella on, and it'll just pump gas into the room. That brings me on to my next trick. This is a carbon monoxide alarm, and it's absolutely essential to living in a small space, especially with a gas stove in here, or even having a battery in there. You know, it gives off, they can give off like they can give off fumes sometimes. So make sure that you've got a couple of these in your van, and they will tell you that if the air is getting poor in your van or in your small space wherever you're living, they will tell you, they will wake you up, and they will save your life. I can't recommend those enough. So I'm sorry about this shot, it's probably going to be super grainy, but as you can see, I've got a 300 watt inverter, 240 volt inverter, so it's 12 volts to 240 volts. And then I've got my 12 volt leisure battery below, and that's 120 amp hours. And that's connected to the battery, the main battery, so the starting battery, I guess. And then that's split with a relay. So when I turn off the ignition, the two batteries are completely separate to one another. So when I'm running the van, the charge is flowing into this battery from the main battery. When I turn off the ignition, this is separate so that I can run this battery flat without running my main battery flat. That's a very easy thing to do. You can get proper split charge relays that are actually voltage sensitive as well. So they'll switch off when this hits its target voltage. So this is absolutely essential. You need this. You need to charge things. I charge my laptop off this. I actually ran an electric blanket off this for probably 3 or 4 months. This is essential. You need to get this set up. So behind door number 1, I actually have my clothes. So I store my clothes in these, just basically these bins under the bed. I keep very few clothes, to be honest, and I actually don't use half of them. I have clothes for working in the office, and I have clothes for working in my boat. And to be honest, that's about it. I might have a pair of jeans to go for dinner in, and to be honest, I keep it as simple as I can. And this is the sitting room. That's it, really. To be honest, there's nothing else. It's just this is where I sit when I'm sick of being in the bedroom. Sit here and think. Oh yeah, actually, I didn't show you the bathroom. I'm just kidding. This isn't where I go to the bathroom. So I wanted to keep this video relatively short and sweet. You've seen where I sleep. You've seen where I eat. You've seen where I store my clothes. To be honest, that's all there is to it. I spend most of my evenings up in my garage. I have a garage that I do work in. I've got a workshop. I spend a lot of my time between that and the boat, to be honest. So I don't really spend an evening relaxing. So I wouldn't be, I do miss that actually. That's something I really do miss. I miss being able to go home, sit on the sofa and watch some TV. I haven't done that for a very long time. I stay with my dad most weekends as well, and his house is very close to where the boat currently is. But soon the boat's going to be moved to where I'm working effectively. So I'm going to be home a lot less. So I will really be full on boat life. I'm going to do a lot more videos on how it's actually living in a boat, actually living in the boat, aside from the boat building part. I'll try and do a small series on actually living, on my current living situation. Because I think it's going to be a little bit unusual compared to what some people are used to. Thankfully, in the new marina that I'm moving to, there's proper shower facilities and there's washing machines and everything like that, so I'm not going to have any issues with that. So basically any of those, I suppose, amenities that you need are all pretty much on site, so I'm really looking forward to having that. One thing I absolutely love about having the van is, to be honest, if I'm, say, an hour's drive from work in the morning and I want to stay with one of my mates and they don't have a bed, I can hop in the back here. Or things like that, you've got ultimate freedom. You can pretty much sleep wherever you are, as long as you're not bothering anybody. You can sleep wherever you want, and to be honest, that's been a really cool part of it. I've tried to be as open as I can and as transparent as I can about the van. But if you do have any other questions and you don't feel like commenting, you can send me an email. But if you leave a comment below, I can answer and everyone can benefit from it. So that's it from this video, really. In the next video, you'll see a lot more of actually Zora rigging the boat. And I'll talk a bit more about ballast and the issue with the impeller. So we had an issue with our impeller. I'm going to go into as much detail as I can there about the engine and what we've done and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll benefit people too. I'm going to try and keep everything as technical as possible now that people seem to be enjoying the technical aspect. So I'm going to push that out a lot more. That said, thanks again, and I'll see you then.